Okay, so hello, everyone. Welcome to the second part of our video. As I have mentioned before, in this video, we are just gonna analyze how things are gonna work out in the knockout stages of the Euro 2020. We are not gonna predict. We are just gonna analyze how things will work out for these teams, depending on their odds and how they have performed in the group stages. With us for the 9,999 time, we have Mr. Hammer with us because we can't afford any other guests. So, Mr. Hammer, your opening words.
It's been a good tournament. Let's see how we can screw the rest of it up.
Okay, very nice words by Mr.
Also,
Hammer.
before
Let's go down on a very windy match that is uh, uh, probably the most exciting one in the knockout stages. England versus Germany. England have 1 plus 155 odds and Germany plus 205. England fared better in their group standings than Germany did, but then again, England wasn't drawn into the group of death either. Three Lions finished top of Group D, logging wins over both Croatia and Czech Republic, while ending their match against Scotland in a scoreless draw, scoring only two goals through three games. Germany, on the other hand, finished second in Group F, narrowly escaping elimination at the hands of Hungary before they found a late game equalizer. They were able to take down Portugal 4-2 in the second game after opening the group campaign with a 1-0 loss to France. Now these two sides will face off against each other in the round of 16, and while, as I mentioned, England is only slightly favored here at plus 155 to Germany's plus 205. I would argue it could be flipped as Germany definitely has the talent to move on. So, yes, Mr. Hammer, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
thoughts are simple. I think people are forgetting that when England scored only two, they didn't concede any, and
Yes.
that came against a good Scotland side who's been very unlucky, a Croatia side who's okay, but they've been able to score goals. It's not like they haven't been able to score. And a Czech side who was very dominating. He dominated the ball. I think it's just because of the hype that got behind the England squad, because of the talent they had. Jadon Sancho, who's not played a minute yet. Marcus Rashford, who's played only few minutes. Jude Bellingham, who's played only 22 minutes. And that has to play a lot around. Gareth Southgate has preferred more with to go with the defensive solidarity instead of going for the attacking fluidity by not picking the likes of Jack Grealish a lot and instead getting Mason Mount, who has a higher defensive rate. And we saw Bukayo Saka coming in. He's also one of those players who has a very high defensive rate and tracking back to midfielders and making those drive-through runs with the ball. Although I would have liked to see Jadon Sancho, but anyway. Whereas with Germany, of course, they lost to France, almost lost to Hungary. They battered Portugal, and I think I'll come to that how and why when we talk about Portugal's draw. But right now, I think Germany, if they play that 3-5-2, that horrendously goes 3-5-2 against England, they are going to get caught on the counter so badly. And even if they don't get caught on the counter, if they're wing. So what was happening in against Hungary was, for example, if Joshua Kimmich was high up the pitch, and I know how to pronounce Joshua Kimmich. So so when he was high up the pitch because he was playing right wing back, whenever the ball got caught, it was like they were playing FIFA. They knew how to just passed it into the channels. So similarly, even like Robin Gosens like likes to ramp up the field, and he was doing it just like he was doing it against Portugal. But when the ball got stolen, the likes of Roland Shalai and Adam Shalai was acting as a focal point, driving the centre backs, which allowed them to get their players. Roland Shalai has been one of Hungary's best players. He has been running all over the place. He has a high defense, high attacking rate, high defensive work rate. He gets a lot of free kicks. Probably will get his ankles checked, I guess. And so that was what was happening. And with the likes of wingers that England have, even though Raheem Sterling has not been in the kind of most dribbling and most driving run kind of in the formation, but if you give that amount of space to this England side, especially with Grealish, if he starts, I don't see Germany making it through.
Yes, now coming to your point to England's managerial errors or maybe Gareth Southgate's managerial errors. The like we have almost mentioned their squad or maybe their playing 11, but we haven't mentioned their striker Harry Kane yet. It's been a quite tournament for Harry Kane. He hasn't done anything, but to everyone's surprise, according to me, I don't believe that he has played bad because if you're gonna closely observe the matches, look at the passes that Harry Kane got inside the box. Zero, like literally zero. Look at the crosses he have inside the box. Zero. Look at the through balls he had inside the box. Zero. So if you can't feed your main striker, how are you supposed to score goals? As you rightly said, that Southgate is definitely going for a more defensive approach and trying not to concede a single goal. But against a team like Germany, I believe they have to score if they have to win. It's my thought. So now coming to
Also,
yeah.
if you look at this side of the draws, where England and Germany are, I highly believe if England win this, they have a very high chance of going to the finals. Who is going
Yes,
to beat them?
yes,
Do you think Sweden, Ukraine beat them, Netherlands and whatever beats them, Wales
yeah,
and Denmark? No, nobody beats them. If they
yes.
get through Germany, there is a high chance they go to the finals.
Yeah, if they won, like you rightly said, if they won, my predictions are just gonna prove right. So I don't think they're gonna win. I mentioned like my top four from the day one were like Italy, England, and France, and the fourth one was like it was changing. But if uh, England won the game against Germany, they are in the top. Definitely, they are in the top. So yeah, so who are you picking in this one? England or Germany?
I'll pick England. I'll pick England.
Okay, so I have to go with the Germans. Uh, Although I don't believe in German efficiency that much, but I'll just pray that Tony Cruz does something and just maybe a stunner, maybe or maybe a good free kick and Germany through this match. Okay, now let's jump on to another exciting fixture and according to most or the most exciting fixture in the knockout stages, Belgium versus Portugal. Portugal, after escaping Group F in the third place, will have to take on a very good Belgium side who went 3-0 in the Group B, locking up to the top spot without much trouble. Belgium only allowed one goal through three games. Their 2-1 win over Denmark, while scoring seven of their own. Uh, Not to mention, Romelu Lukaku was a standout as he notched three goals for the Red Devils, while several other players added one each. On the other hand, Portugal also totaled seven goals through the group stage, while Cristiano Ronaldo leading the way with an impressive fight. Uh, Now coming to odds, Belgium is favored to win at plus 120, and I think that's the right call. But see, Ronaldo and Portugal squad could be poised for an upset. So, do you think Portugal can go for a win here?
Yeah, I think it's not that apart like the odds say, because when the midfield of João Palhinha came up, even when Palhinha was not there, there was Renato Sanchez, Danilo who just got knocked out by a UFC boxer named Hugo Lloris, and there was João Moutinho. So with these three, when Renato Sanchez was dominating against a midfield which had Paul Pogba and N'Golo Conte. So when Kalinia came, and I don't think we saw enough of Ruben Neves. But if he has a good game along with these two, there is a high chance they can dominate that Belgium midfield. Although there is Kevin De Bruyne, because if you cut that feed into him, then he cannot pass it enough in a way that all see. Romelu Lukaku is always going to look with his back towards the last defender, so that he can turn him and take the shot, just like we saw against Denmark and whatnot. But the thing is, this Belgium side is slowly coming into his own. De Bruyne, we saw he can turn a match around on his own with a blink of an eye. Lukaku is in a thrashing amount of form. He just needs half a chance, half a yard, half a turn to just score. That left foot is on fire. And Eden Hazard has got his bum out again. And like Yaya Toure said, he is trying to find his low center of gravity. The players that I wanted to watch, Timothy Castagne unfortunately got injured, but Thomas Meunier is surprisingly again clicking into form. And in even if that didn't happen, Jeremy Doku had a great game somehow. I don't know how. I picked him to have a great game. He had a great game. So it is going to be tough for Portugal. I think their wingers are really underrated. Bernardo Silva, not Bernardo Silva just, but Diogo Jota. The progressive runs, the amount of progressive runs and the carrying runs that he makes in a 90 is unbelievable. He just goes on, threads in from the midfield towards the attack, and that takes a lot of dribbling skills as well as ball carrying skills. But they would really need a lot of talent and a lot of luck if they were going to beat.
Yeah, now there are quite a good amount of problems with Portugal, especially going into this fixture. Belgium are the favorites, not the clear favorites, but yes, Belgium are the favorites. Now, in the last match, we have seen that Fernando Santos, the coach of Portugal, he dropped Bruno Fernandes. So, what are your thoughts? As we mentioned in the first video, not the first video, but the series in which we were analyzing our group stages and we were analyzing the squad depths, we mentioned that there are a lot of star players in Portugal, and that's gonna come back to them. It's gonna hurt them, and we have seen it in the Germany match and even in the Hungary match. But in the France's match, I believe if Bruno Fernandes would have started, they would have lost the game easily. So, do you think that Fernando Santos have to take some harsh decisions and maybe put one or two star players out to maybe create a balance into the team?
Yeah, I think the squad against France is going to start against Belgium as well. Moutinho probably did not have his best game, would have had a better game. Palhinha looked way better than him. But Bruno Fernandes, I don't think is going to start, because the way Portugal play, if the team goes on a low block, he just likes to go on from towards the left hand side and tries to pick out players. And when he and because the team is on a low block and there is just Ronaldo as a centre forward with two wingers who are particularly shorter in height, who cannot attack an aerial cross just equally good enough as Cristiano Ronaldo, because there is no other centre forward in the team. Then it becomes a problem for a player like Bruno Fernandes, because his attitude is to carry, is not to dominate the midfield, it's to pass and move and pass and move. That's what he likes to do at Manchester United, and he takes an odd shot every now and then as well, which he is usually very good with. But I think Renato Sanchez provides that hustle in the midfield. He wins the ball back a lot of times. He also dribbles around a lot more. That robustness of a midfielder that Renato Sanchez has, Bruno Fernandes does not have. And I think the same team should start probably. And yeah, Renato Sanchez over Bruno Fernandes.
The video is gonna be a little long, but I would like to point out that another striker that was hyped, Felix, he haven't got much of a playing time. Like you said that Portugal only have one centre forward, or like Ronaldo is a striker. He's a centre forward. He plays down the left wing. He starts down the left wing. He comes to the centre, then to the right. So, do you think that playing Felix would be that, making that huge change would be a good thing for Fernando Santos right now?
I honestly don't think Joao Felix will get a minute in this tournament. If anybody is going to be coming on, why will they bring on Joao Felix instead when they can bring on a much more natural header of a ball in Andre Silva,
Yep.
right? And they did that against Hungary, and that played effectively when they had to cross it in, and then Rafael Guerrero scored. And I believe Andre Silva is going to come on if they need another striker, and they want to confuse a centre back or pull a centre back forward to make more space for the wingers to score. But I don't see Joao Felix in this tournament until and unless somebody gets majorly injured or something. Because he plays like a second striker to
Yes.
Suarez in Atletico Madrid, right? And he just does not have that space in this team right now.
Okay, so riding that train of thought, what do you think? Who's gonna go through Belgium or Portugal?
Yeah, Belgium is.
Okay, now let me just pick the underdogs then. I believe in Ronaldo. He's gonna break the record. He's gonna score
He is going to break the record. He will just hit the ball with his hand and like penalty. But nah, he should be able to break the record. But I don't think one goal is going to be enough to keep this Belgian side out.
yeah. Now let's move to an easy fixture for France. France versus Switzerland. The reigning World Cup champs are riding high after first in through Pep. Karim Benzema led the way with two goals as Kylian Mbappe surprisingly didn't get even one. They are heavily favored to beat Switzerland at minus 195, and rightfully so, as the Swiss sneak through the Group A's third spot. Switzerland had some big players in Kevin Mbabu and Shaqiri, but France is obvious choice for the win here. I don't think there is much to discuss here, but France is going through. Do you think that now let's change the game a little bit? How many goals France is going to score?
Yeah, Switzerland have not looked that tough that they should have. I think they've done well enough to come out of their group.
Yes,
And yeah, just Kevin Mbabu, like you said, he's had a good game at right wing back. He's a very dynamic fullback who is, and like I said in the prediction video, France like to keep it really boring in the group stages because they are boring in the group stages. Then when the knockouts come up, they just know how to kick it up a notch. So it will be interesting to see, and I I hope it should be an easy win for France. There's not much to say.
Yes. France are going through. Now let's come to I have saved the best for the last. Sweden versus Ukraine. Uh, Sweden surprisingly finished at the top of Group E thanks to a stoppage goal by Victor Claesson in their third and final group stage game, giving them a 3-2 win over Poland. Striker Emil Forsberg scored the other three goals in the opening stage, while their defense was able to keep two clean sheets, including a scoreless draw with Spain. Thanks to Morata, not much to Sweden's good here. While Ukraine didn't fare too well, they slipped through the third place spot in the Group C, thanks to 3 points they collected from North Macedonia in a 2-1 win. They lost their other two outings, and honestly, their plus 255 odds to win doesn't seem low enough. As Sweden, who have odds of plus 125, should definitely be expected to win this contest. There is a reason I said that it's an interesting matchup because according to you, Sweden was not qualifying, but Sweden topped the group. So I would just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Uh, but I was right about Ukraine.
Yeah.
But I see Sweden. I thought it was going to be difficult for them, especially considering that Dejan Kulusevski he had turned out to be COVID positive and he did not play the first two games. But the likes of Alexander Isaac, and Emil Forsberg, they've just been really good. They've been really defensively solid. Victor Lindelof has somehow been good in the air, and Robin Olsen is a decent goalkeeper in them. As a they defend as a team collectively. They know where other people are, and they have a very tight communication in between them. This group has, and the likes of Stephen Lang, the older players. They also have a few players who can come on every now and then, like Robin Quaison, who started the game against Poland. But it's just, I think I what my problem was, I didn't see enough creativity in them to go through the group stages. And now that I've seen them play, I still don't see it. But it's just that Ukraine, the problem with Ukraine against Austria, sorry, not Austria. Austria was that they really got dominated when Austria were on the ball. They just could not defend and press high enough, collectively enough, because first of all the team is a little older with the likes of Yaremchuk and Yamilenko up top, and then there was a lot of poor passing. I think the passing accuracy in that game, the last Ukraine game, went really down. But I see this as a great matchup. The likes of Ruslan Malinovsky and Alexander Zinchenko, they've had good games. Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk link up top is always something that interests me, because they always, whenever Yarmolenko gets the ball, he either wants to shoot or he knows where Yaremchuk is, and it's just they. I think they've got a little hard done by when they lost to Netherlands 3-2. So I would be still be rooting for Ukraine.
Those Sweden are the favorites. You are still rooting for Ukraine. Now let's. I believe we have covered all the teams, and there are no predictions. They are just analysis, and we are just have our thoughts on how the odds will play out. Uh, these are our analysis of the knockout stages. Stay tuned. There are more videos coming on this channel. We are definitely gonna cover the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. So stay tuned. Tata, bye bye. Thank you, Mr. Anna, for joining.